I plan to do a dune landscape, so I'm beginning with the contour of the dunes. Blocking in the color of the sky with a mix of King's blue light and Scheveningen blue light. Gradually adding more Scheveningen blue and finally Indenthrene blue to prevent the sky from becoming too green. Normally I'd use the badger hair fan brush after the stipple brush, but in this case I want to preserve the tiny specks of burnt sienna to maximize the effect of the warm base color. With my color shaper I draw the edge of the cloud in the still wet paint. A color shaper looks a bit like a brush with a rubber tip. I often use it to apply tiny dots of paint for highlights and stuff like that, but its primary use is drawing in wet paint. It's not necessary to remove all of the blue paint. The remaining blue will mix beautifully with the color of the cloud later on. The cloud actually only has one really bright spot. I'm doing it with a mix of titanium white, brilliant yellow, and a little vermilion red. I'll do the rest of the cloud in a soft blue-gray color. I got a leftover of the blue of the sky, and by mixing it with the color of the bright spot, I get the soft bluish gray I was just talking about. On the shadow side of the cloud, I darken the color a bit by adding a little indigo. With my small stipple brush I bring out the burnt sienna base color. Though it's hardly visible, the warm-cold contrast makes the surface tingle a little. Next are the dunes. I begin with a thin down layer of brilliant yellow, sepia and a little titanium white. The color is so transparent that the burnt sienna remains clearly visible. With a less diluted mix of the same colors, I do the patches of sunlight on the sand. By adding violet gray to the initial color, I get a beautifully sandy shadow color. The 19th century impressionists kindly discovered that a shadow color contains the complementary color of the object. In this case, there's a bit of purple in the shadow, complementary to the yellow of the sand. A little indigo for the darker parts. Okay, a few more light accents in the sand, and I'm done for today. After this layer is dry, I can start on fine-tuning the painting. The cloud is too dark, but since I don't want to lose the underlying fine-grained texture, I'm going to apply a glaze with transparent white mixed with a little violet grey. As you probably know, a cloud consists of myriads of tiny droplets. The stipple brush allows you to create a texture that strongly resembles these droplets. That's why I'm so attached to this old ragged brush. A little titanium white, just a little, because I don't want the layer to become opaque, and a hint of vermilion red to enhance the difference between the sunlit side and the shadow side of the cloud. I use the same mixture of transparent white and violet grey to do the little soft clouds that always float close to a large cloud, like pilotfish around a whale. They can give a painting just the liveliness it needs. When zooming in on the painting, it's clear that the burnt sienna base layer is still visible. In the sky, in the clouds, and in the landscape. So, if you keep the burnt sienna base layer shining through, it will tie your painting together. See you next time.